Hello, welcome to Lazada Insider, featuring knowledge that makes a difference. We share trusted insights, forward-looking perspectives, and exclusive expert interviews to keep you ahead of the curve.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lazada Insider, Winning the Beauty Digital Shelf Special Series. I'm your host, Katrina from Lazada. Southeast Asian consumers are more aware of the efficacy, safety, and transparency of beauty products today. And they have greater desire to really hardworking actives and hero ingredients that will address their skin concerns. And this really underpins the considerable growth of Derma beauty products, which is our topic of discussion today. I'm very happy to be joined by expert panel guest, Dr. Felix Lee, founder of Dr. Felix Lee Medical Aesthetics Clinic, Evelyn Chua, Vice President of Malaysia and Singapore from Synagie, and Rameet Kaur, General Manager of Luxe Division of L'Oreal Group. So very big welcome and thank you for joining Lazada Insider. May I first invite all of you to let our audience know a bit more about you. Maybe let's hear from Dr. Lee first.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Felix. I run Dr. Felix Lee Medical Aesthetics Clinic. In Singapore, we've been doing aesthetics for the past 7 years. We have our own line of skincare, the DRFL line of skincare, which we're very proud of. I would say it would be a Derma beauty product before a Derma beauty product was a thing. And we mainly specialize on fillers, non-surgical facelifts, but skincare is a really, really big part of what we do because when you come for a filler treatment or even a laser treatment, you come once every month, once every year. But skincare is something that you do every day, and that is really, really impactful to your skin health and the way it looks as well as a whole.
Thank you for the introduction. So, Evelyn, it's really great to have you back again, first of all, on Lazada Insider. And maybe you could give us a refresher about your experience.
Okay, thank you, Katrina, for having me back, and thanks for introducing yourself, Felix. I'm Evelyn from Synagie. It's a pleasure to meet everyone in today's session today. So I'm sure most of you would have heard Synagie is the #1 e-commerce enabler within the Southeast Asia region. I lead the commercial team within Singapore and Malaysia, and we partner with brands such as L'Oreal, Rameet's team, as well as Estee Lauder Group, Shiseido, Moet Hennessy, Montblanc, and many other categories.
Thank you. Last but not the least, Rameet, could you let us know a bit more about your experience as well?
Sure, happy to introduce myself. So I work with L'Oreal, definitely the leading company for beauty in the world. We have divisions that cater to our consumers' needs across all different types. So active cosmetics is one of those, catering as well to this derma beauty trend. The luxury division, which is where I work with brands like Lancome, Kiehl's, Armani Beauty, and two other divisions as well in the company. My role at L'Oreal is basically to drive transformation projects in our region, which is South Asia Pacific. So pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Great introduction. Let's start with probably an understanding of the term derma beauty first. It is certainly on trend, but exactly what it is. Could you help us understand better what is considered derma beauty? Maybe Rameet, can you share your thoughts?
Yeah. So it could be a category where, different people have different definitions, and I'll share mine. So the way I think about derma beauty is it's really the democratization of what was previously only available in the doctor's office. And what I mean by that is products, for which results, so efficacy, benefits, ingredients, and expertise are first. So, and this is something that, today's consumer is definitely looking for.
Thank you. And Dr. Lee, you're certainly the expert in this field. So based on your experience, what are actually the key drivers that power the growth of derma beauty in this region?
So traditionally, there was always a split between therapeutics and skincare. So the best way I find to explain this is in the treatment of acne, a therapeutic would be like pimple cream, right? And then skincare would be like an oil-free moisturizer. Neither of them are more or less important. They are both equally important in the treatment of the patient's acne. And over the years, right, as we start to develop a kind of merging of these two products into what they call cosmoceuticals, basically a product that is both skincare but also contains active ingredients, right, to achieve a certain skin goal for the patient. And I believe that this is basically what bonds Derma Beauty, which is essentially now consumers, right, wanting to know exactly what is in their skincare. So like Rameet very put really well, the information, right, shouldn't be privy to the doctor's office. It should be made democratic and available for all. So I think with the more educated, well-informed client, we want to give them not just the product, but also the information for them to make the best choices about what product they're using for themselves.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm very curious to understand, with all these demand from the clients and consumers, how the current landscape of Derma Beauty in Southeast Asia looks like. What are your observations, Evelyn?
Okay, thanks, Katrina. Maybe I can share a little. I think this is probably obvious to many of us here due to COVID, right? We actually saw that within the entire beauty industry, we saw a significant decline in terms of categories such as color, cosmetics, as well as fragrance. But on the other hand, we saw a very explosive growth in terms of skincare. And within the last 2 years, and that's really seen across all the different brands in the market, and particularly in this particular department called active cosmetics that we saw, which is your derm and your specialized beauty. And this is because there's an increasing demand for consumers wanting to take better care of themselves and their skin. And I would think that this derma cosmetic products, right, ultimately answers the three most important needs of consumers. Number one, they are recommended by dermatologists, so it makes them feel as if it's being prescribed in a way to the consumers. Number two, they are also certified, right, by dermatologists, and consumers who are using it, back to what Felix and also Rameet has shared, they feel safe and it's effective to use. They are very clear in terms of the ingredients that's being used in this product, and we make them well informed. And third, these products don't overpromise, right? So that leads to a little bit of authenticity when it comes to a consumer using it. And I think this really kind of like, draw the high level headline of this entire derma beauty industry. And yeah, it really shows how this entire category helps consumers to target, right, specific needs such as fine lines, acne prone skin, brightening, whitening, and it's not just fully reliant on clinical treatments, but also how do all these derma products come as aftercare for after aesthetic treatments, for example, to consumers. Yeah, this is how I see it growing within the Southeast Asia market.
Thank you so much, Evelyn, for sharing the key features of Derma Beauty products. You mentioned about trust, you mentioned about safety and authenticity. So let's talk more about it. Maybe Rameet, we understand that, L'Oreal Group certainly has a whole portfolio of Derma Beauty brands. You mentioned Kiehl's in your introduction as well. So from your experience, what are the top benefits that Southeast Asian consumers expect Derma Beauty products to provide in terms of formulation and benefits?
Yeah. So I would say the first is really the quest for youth, is eternal. So I think definitely, anti-aging products, which help, women feel better about themselves, even as the skin, goes through very natural changes, through the decades. So the first would definitely be that. And I think a very strong complementary benefit to, these types of products is sun care. So I'm sure Dr. Felix, can speak to this as well. But when it comes to prevention, this is really one of the biggest segments. And, I think there's more and more awareness amongst consumers that rather than, waiting till the problem has appeared, it's better to, to take the preventive action and to use sun care. So that would be the second segment. The third is, definitely brightening. Right? So we all want that brighter, glowing skin. Again, one of the natural changes that occurs in skin with age is around, pigmentation, around dark spots. And so really taking care of, those types of problem areas would be, I think, the third one that I would highlight. The last one, which, is probably more important, I think, for some of the active, cosmetics brands would be around blemish care. So certainly, when consumers are looking for products, off the shelf or at a cosmetics counter, it's more about blemish care, about managing, excess oil production. And certainly, when it comes to acne, that's where, having the support of a dermatologist and more medical grade products, then becomes important. So in summary, these would be the four main for me.
Thank you, Rameet. Dr. Lee, when consumers go to your clinic, do you see they have the similar skin issues that Rameet highlighted, the things they try to address with Derma Beauty products?
I think I'm gonna. Actually, I thought Rameet did a really, really good job summarizing. But let me categorize them a little bit. I feel that there are a few categories of patients requiring skincare. The first category would be patients who are trying to treat a condition, right? And the second category is the kind of patients who just want to look younger and more radiant. So these are two completely different patient subtypes. Now, for the first subtype, I would say that with a word of caution, while it's important to educate consumers, and there's a lot of information now made available online, this information you find online does not actually replace a medical consultation, especially if you have a skin condition. So if you're treating acne, rosacea, eczema, sensitive skin, you're treating a medical condition, it's still best to see a doctor. And then you will be using more or less a combination of medications, topicals, as well as cosmeceuticals or pure skincare. So, but let's talk about the more interesting topic, which is anti-aging, that glow, the beauty. I feel that, as Rameet very correctly pointed out, right, everybody wants to look younger. They want the skin to retain that youth. And I think that's a really, really important trend. Once again, also pointed out by Evelyn at the start, that people no longer really want to cover things anymore. They start to understand that it's more important for your skin to be healthy and therefore look beautiful than just to artificially look beautiful on the outside. Which is why I would actually agree that if we're talking about good skin, healthy skin, and without a medical condition, I will always split my patients into three plus one. Okay, so there are three compulsory items and one optional item. So what's compulsory is an antioxidant. An antioxidant is something that would help reduce free radical damage that's caused by sun, environment to your skin. And most commonly, you would find in the market would be a vitamin C. Second thing we'll look at, basically, it's a moisturizer, something that holds moisture in your skin, which the most common and effective would be hyaluronic acid or HA, right? And number three, which is incredibly important, is actually sun protection. Sunblock is by just reducing UV damage to your skin, right? You are going to reduce so many different facets of skin aging, and that. So I'll say these three are kind of compulsory, and the fourth is something, right, that makes your body do a certain thing that you want. So do you want your body to make less oil? You want it to make less pigment? You want it to regenerate collagen faster? You want to give it a signal to do that, right? So there are many, many, many things down this path. And once again, when you find all this information online, you gotta consider two things. Number one, right, is everything has a benefit, but do you need everything? Because everything sounds attractive, but you don't want to end up in a situation of polypharmacy whereby you're putting a lot of different creams on your face, and even if you're not getting any complications from it, you're definitely not getting the most of the benefits out of all of them. So that's one. The other half of it, right, is this desire for change. X% improvement in how many weeks, and my lightening of blemishes, improving of fine lines, wrinkles. People want to see an improvement, and it is human nature, right? That change is better than prevention. But in skincare, many times prevention is better than cure. So I have a product that can lighten your pigmentation very, very fast. But the question is, at what cost? Right? Am I making the skin more sensitive? Am I thinning the skin? Am I affecting the skin in other ways? So I think one important kind of facet of patient education is that we have to, and more patients are realizing this, as Evelyn was mentioned in our region, which I think is really, really important, that healthy skin is the best skin.
I think I just want to add on to something that Dr. Felix Lee has really rightly pointed out. I think less is more. Many times, when customers purchase products, especially with all these active ingredients, and it's very sensitive, right? There are certain products that you can't layer on top of one another, and I feel that there is very much education that's required within this field.
I mean, what you shared certainly highlights the importance of, skin experts, dermatologists, the importance of them in this area, especially in terms of the choice of different products and combination of different products. We'll get back to that later. But before that, let's look at basically in the digital space, right? The beauty industry certainly has been very rapid growth in digital commerce. So, Evelyn, how do you see the rise of digital commerce impacting the derma beauty industry in general?
Explosive, just like what I mentioned. No, but I think jokes aside, we do see that within the beauty industry, within digital commerce, that's a lot of tech that's involved. AR, AI, face recognition, color recognition. But I think specifically for derm beauty industry, there's a very interesting trend and a way of communication to consumers, and that's via beauty influencers. So this is one that we have seen within particularly this derm specialized beauty industry, that a lot of famous influencers, skincare celebrities, even doctors, right, promoting skincare products that's developed by dermatologists, and how it actually helps to improve skincare, and also the procedures and the care that you need to do to make sure that you look great, less is more. We have also created a lot of live shows as well for some of the brands that we work with, and we partner with doctors as well to show to consumers the right way to use the products. I mentioned earlier the right way to layer products. There are certain ingredients I think Dr. Felix Lee would be the best to advise. If you're using product A, for example, retinol, you're not supposed to use with another product. And these are very important information that we need to make sure that the consumers are well educated. If not, they are not going to see the true efficacy of the product that they're using, which then defeats the purpose, because you would then need to treat other facial issues that you may potentially foresee. So I think such digital engagements by all these specific influencers as well as dermatologists is very important, because it not only drives conversion, right, which is ultimately digital sales that we see, but the more important fact of trust, and that helps really to reduce the amount of time that a consumer needs in terms of making that purchase online as well. So I do believe this is a really big piece that drives the entire digital commerce within this particular industry.
Rameet, I mean, like based on what Evelyn shared and your experience from brand perspective as well, I mean, obviously, naturally, dermatologists, beauty advisors, skin experts, all these people are playing a very important role in consumers' purchase decisions of derma beauty products. So, how do you ensure that consumers can get similar experience in online space beyond what Evelyn just mentioned?
Yeah, so L'Oreal, as the leader in beauty tech, has been innovating in many different ways over the last few years to find a way to be able to bring this expertise and counseling to the consumer, when they want, where they want. So whether they are at home, on the phone, on the go, to give them the access, that they need. So I'll talk about a few different, initiatives. I think the first one, especially important over the last couple of years, has been video consultations. So I think in the past, we would have had to go into a store or into the doctor's office to speak to an expert. But with Kiehl's, in many countries, around the world, we've been offering this service where you're able to either schedule an appointment, or if the expert is available, have the conversation on the spot, where the person is able to see you on video. And help you, with any concerns, any questions that you may have about your skin, any information that you might need about, combining different ingredients, different products, and so on. And it's actually been a very, well appreciated service that the company has provided, and it's an area that we continue to innovate on as well. And the other, way which I think is really, exciting has been on the integration of online counseling, into brand platforms. So, for example, with Kiehl's, we have a service which we call the Instant Skin Reader. And the idea of this service is that you're able to, go onto the website, take a picture, upload that photo, and at the back end, the technology will compare, this photo to millions of, data points which exist, and use that to help you identify what are your areas of strength. And then what are maybe some of the areas that you may need to focus on, a little bit more. And the service, then provides basically this information to the customer together, with some product recommendations, and also an option to get much deeper information on ingredients if that's what they wish. So definitely expect to see a lot more innovation, with this, with bringing this expertise online in the months and years to come.
Very exciting innovation. For our very last question, I would like to understand from all of you, what are some of the top trends that you anticipate in the derma beauty industry over the next couple of years? Maybe Dr. Lee, could you shed some light on the question first?
I think to me, the top trend, and it's a really, really important trend, would be the trend towards healthy skin. Because previously, when we put a product on our face, we are always looking for an instant result, a big change. And as a result, we have been going towards very harsh products that can give that sort of instant results, but it doesn't make the skin healthier, right? And now I think patients are more and more understanding that a healthy skin, right, is the most important thing that you could wear on your face, right? And that you don't actually need to see a instant change, because the thing about our skin, right, is that it is consistently in a state of damage and repair. So this is not something that I'm going to drop a magic drop of thing on it and the damage disappears. I drop a magic drop on it and the thing. It is something that's constant, something that's regular, something that's routine. And you see the advantage of your skincare not just in the short term, but more importantly also in the longer term. And I think that's really important that consumers are understanding that other than treating their immediate concerns, they are also looking for cosmeceuticals, if I may call it that, to help slow down the process of skin and facial aging, and help to promote the process of healing, repair, that gives you ultimately better skin, that looks better, but is also more resilient, stronger, and healthier in the long term.
Thank you. What do you think, Evelyn?
I concur with what Dr. Felix has mentioned. I mean, as a female myself, I can totally relate, right? You will really want your skin to look good. Maybe I'll focus the trends more towards digital e-commerce. I would say that for consumers moving forward, they no longer shop via just by brand in this particular industry, but more shopping towards concerns and ingredients. So it's going to change in terms of the shift that they search. For example, you're no longer going to search for a particular brand, but if I have acne-prone skin, then what are the products that's going to be recommended to me? That's one. And secondly, what's going to make them look further into a particular product would then be one piece that I also spoke about, the educational digital content, videos that will be relevant so that they can understand a little bit deeper and also get clarity in terms of the information of the product so that they know the right way to use. So I would see these are the two biggest trends that we can see within the digital e-commerce within this industry.
Thank you. And Rameet, what is your perspective on this?
Yeah, for me, I see two sort of complementary, trends to what both Evelyn and Dr. Lee talked about. I think the first is beyond products. I think we're going to see a move towards devices. So, Evelyn talked about it more in the context of how people shop. But I think even what they shop for, is something that we will continue to see evolve with kind of these home use, devices becoming more and more, important in this derma beauty space. And the second one for me is, it's like the holy grail. I've been in cosmetics and, this field now for 20 years. And, every time you ask a consumer about, so what is it that you really, want? The answer is always personalization. I want a solution that is really, for me. Right. So I think consumers are going to keep challenging us, to see how far, can we help them go in this quest to have a personalized and a targeted solution. Yeah.
Very insightful sharing. I'm sure our audience will learn a lot from all the discussion today. Thank you very much again, Dr. Lee, Evelyn, and Rameet, for joining Lazada Insider and sharing your experience and perspectives with us. Thank you.
This is Lazada Insider. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you click follow and subscribe so you don't miss our latest insights and expert interviews. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, take care.